A very good evening and welcome to the news at 6. Here are the top stories of this hour. GDP growth estimates for the July-September quarter of 2017-18 are released. Economy registers a growth rate of 6.3% over the corresponding quarter of the previous year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says he is ready to pay a political price in order to fight corruption, asserted that his government has brought about systemic changes in the country. Security forces shoot dead 4 militants in Budgam and 1 in Baramulla districts of Jammu and Kashmir. Police officer sustains minor injuries. 2 civilians are injured in the encounter as well. And North Korea's state-run television KRTE on Thursday broadcasts footage of its leader Kim Jong-un monitoring the launch of the Hwasong-15 missile. UN Security Council mulls over more sanctions. Our top story, the country's GDP grew by 6.3% in the second quarter of this fiscal, up from 5.7% in the April-June quarter. The surge is a clear indication that the economy has shaken off the lingering effects of demonetization last year and the GST rollout on the 1st of July. The sectors that registered over 6% growth are manufacturing, electricity, gas, water supply, and other utility services, and trade, hotels, transport and communication, and services related to broadcasting.
From here onwards, Q to Q is going to be in the same range or even higher.
Look, I pointed out the likely direction of possible source of underestimation, but one reason why one did not seek to quantify it is because precisely for this fact that it would give a misleading picture. There is still a considerable measure of uncertainty on the implementation and how smoothly people have adapted. The pace in which it has been adopted and return filing has been picking up quite rapidly. So this uncertainty should not stay for very long, but I'm not really at this point that close to the field level data on GST. You should be asking Finance Ministry about that. They'll be in a better position to tell you how rapid the implementation is. Because for these reasons, we thought we will not venture our head into what the likely dimensions of this are. And we've been cautious and this we had done earlier also in staying with what can be defended quite comfortably. Insofar as trend reversal, yes, it is a trend reversal. It's quite a significant trend reversal in that sense. And I had pointed this expectation out even last time when I was releasing the first quarter estimate, that there was a long run cycle which, as it works its way out of the system, I would expect the overall dynamism to reassert itself and the growth pattern to return to more normal levels. And that is in some sense happening.
Yeah. Sir, I'm Ashutosh from BTVI News Channel. So, in your opinion, has the GDP growth bottomed out, or is it more of restocking that is getting reflected in the numbers?
Insofar as restocking is concerned, I don't have a direct interaction with industry, but we do look at the advance estimates filed by companies as part of their obligations under stock market rule. From that, it doesn't appear as if inventory accumulation is a major source for the value addition. Please keep in mind that this quarter is the quarter in which a lot of production takes place for the festive season. So it is possible that remember I had hinted at this when I was talking about the first quarter estimate. Anticipation of GST meant people were delaying making the production for the festive season until the GST got launched. It's possible that anticipating the need for the festive season, most of the production actually went into a stale, and inventory restocking may happen later. So my reading of the corporate data suggests that this is actually principally for consumption and sales, inventory accumulation effects may persist in the third quarter as well, because that's what the data seems to suggest.
All right, so Chief Statistician TCA Anant there is telling that the GST introduction did pose a certain statistical challenge for the CSO. However, the GVA might actually turn out to be higher after taking into account the implementation of GST. We'll continue tracking more developments and whatever comes out of that. Meanwhile, the GDP data for September quarter has come on the same day that India's fiscal deficit has already reached 96.1% of the budget estimate by the end of October. The fiscal deficit figures sent the stock exchange into a tailspin, with the benchmark Sensex suffering its biggest single-day fall in 1 year. All right, now on to other news. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke at the inaugural session of the HT Leadership Summit on Thursday. Listing out his government's achievements, the PM said that India has moved towards irreversible change.
एटीट्यूड हमारे देश में आया है, वो पहले कभी नहीं था.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi says he is ready to pay a political price in order to fight corruption. Speaking at the 15th Hindustan Times Leadership Summit, the Prime Minister also asserted that his government has brought about systemic changes in the country.
ज्यादातर खरीद फरोख्त पैसे के लेन देन का एक टेक्निकल और डिजिटल एड्रेस होने लग गया. उस दिन से ऑर्गेनाइज करप्शन काफी हद तक थम जाएगा. कि जो कदम मैं उठा रहा हूं, जिस रास्ते पर मैं चल पड़ा हूं और देश को जिस मंजिल पर पहुंचाने का मकसद लेकर के निकला हूं, इसकी कितनी बड़ी राजनीतिक कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, इसका मुझे भला भारा अंदाज है. लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं.
Referring to demonetization, the Prime Minister said it had brought about a behavioral change in the country, while GST had ushered in a new chapter of transparency.
डीमोनेटाइजेशन के बाद देश में जिस तरह का बिहेवियरल चेंज आया है, उसे आप स्वयं भी महसूस करते होंगे. स्वतंत्रता के बाद पहली बार ऐसा हुआ है जब भ्रष्टाचारियों को काले धन के लेन देन से पहली बार डर लगने लगा है. उनमें पकड़े जाने का भय आया है. जो काला धन पहले पैरेलल इकोनॉमी का आधार था, वो डीमोनेटाइजेशन के बाद फॉर्मल इकोनॉमी का हिस्सा बना है. जीएसटी से भी देश में ट्रांसपेरेंसी का एक नया अध्याय शुरू हुआ है. ज्यादा से ज्यादा व्यापारी भी इस ईमानदार सिस्टम से जुड़े हुए हैं.
He also listed the achievements of his government in a range of sectors, describing Aadhaar as a major power to bring about an irreversible change in the common man's life. The Prime Minister said that the unique identification number will now be used in cases involving Benami properties.
पिछले 3 वर्षों में आधार की मदद से करोड़ों फर्जी नाम से जो काम चाले थे, यानी ऐसी विधवाओं को पेंशन मिलता था जिस बेटी का कभी जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था. फर्जी नाम से उन सारी चीजों को हटाया गया है. इस आधार का उपयोग बेनामी संपत्ति के खिलाफ भी किया जाएगा. ये बहुत बड़ा हथियार बनने वाला है.
In his concluding remarks, the Prime Minister also invoked late President APJ Abdul Kalam, urging the media to give up negativity and focus instead on positive developments. This, he said, would help give direction to the country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, responding to Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling the Congress's stand on GST a grand stupid thought, former Finance Minister and senior Congress leader P. Chidambaram has defended the party. Chidambaram has said that if the Congress stand is stupid, then so is the centre's chief economic advisor Arvind Subramanian, as he also advocates a GST rate of 18%. In a series of tweets, Chidambaram questioned whether the Prime Minister had read the Chief Economic Advisor's report on revenue neutral rate, where he recommended R&R to be between 15 and 15.5%. Chidambaram also questioned the government on failing to reduce fuel prices, even when the international crude oil prices fell by about 50%. And now let's get you all the election news coming in from Gujarat. On the second day of his ongoing Gujarat campaign, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi addressed public meetings in Lathi, Botad and Bhavnagar today. Addressing the crowds in Amreli, Rahul Gandhi questioned the BJP government's track record and said that everyone in Gujarat is opposing the regime except a handful of Modi supporters. He also met and interacted with a delegation of traders in Amreli on the issues that they are facing. Rahul Gandhi later visited the Gopinathji Mandir in Gujarat's Botad district. The two-phase Gujarat elections are scheduled for 9th and 14th of December, while counting will take place on 18th of December.
ये 5 गांव हैं जिनकी पूरी की पूरी जमीन, मतलब 1 इंच जमीन नहीं छोड़ी, पूरी की पूरी जमीन टाटा नैनो को दी। यहां जो लोग रहते थे उनको मोदी जी ने वायदा किया कि अपनी जमीन दे दो, अपना पानी दे दो, अपनी बिजली दे दो, अपनी जिंदगी दे दो, हम तुम्हें रोजगार देंगे नैनो फैक्ट्री में। इनमें से एक व्यक्ति को नैनो फैक्ट्री में रोजगार नहीं मिला।
In other news, 5 militants were gunned down by security forces in 2 separate encounters in Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday. Meanwhile, for the first time in 7 years, the number of militants killed in encounters in Jammu and Kashmir has crossed 200.
Security forces have gunned down 5 militants in Jammu and Kashmir, 4 in Budgam and 1 in Baramulla district. A cordon and search operation was launched in these 2 districts after security forces received information about the presence of militants. The militants opened fire on security forces who retaliated, triggering a fierce gun battle.
With army, police, Budgam, CRPF, it was launched in the morning, and the moment cordon was established on that particular house, the militants started firing on the search parties. So it's basically a huge house. That's why it took some time to neutralize these militants.
There were 4 terrorists in this house. One was a local, Sabir of Tukurpura, and 3 were foreign terrorists of Pakistan origin. 3 bodies have been recovered, and the 4th terrorist probably he got trapped in the house when the house caught fire during the exchange of fire. This group was active in this area for last about more than 2 months. It is definitely a big success, as there are continuous inputs coming that number of jazz fidaying groups are operating in the area. So as per our inputs, there could be 1 or 2 more group of jazz still operating in the area, and we are tracking them also very closely.
A police officer also sustained minor injuries during the operation, while 2 civilians were hurt in the encounter. With the 5 deaths on Thursday, the total number of militants killed so far this year in Jammu and Kashmir has reached 200. State police considers this as a huge landmark in the path towards peace and stability in the valley. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Bollywood director Sanjay Leela Bhansali met a parliamentary standing committee on Thursday to discuss the controversy surrounding his new movie Padmavati. The 30-member parliamentary panel on information technology is headed by BJP MP Anurag Thakur and includes L.K. Advani, Raj Babbar and Paresh Rawal among its members. Earlier in the day, CBFC chief Prasoon Joshi met the Lok Sabha committee on petitions and said that the film has not yet been cleared by the censor board. Joshi explained that the CBFC has only cleared the trailer and promos of Padmavati. The period drama, which stars Deepika Padukone, Ranveer Singh and Shahid Kapoor in lead roles, has been facing protests from the Sri Rajput Karni Sena for allegedly distorting historical facts. The film, which was supposed to be released on the 1st of December, has been deferred by the producers till they receive a certificate from the CBFC. A quick weather check now, and heavy rain hammered coastal Tamil Nadu on Thursday as a depression in the Bay of Bengal turned into a cyclonic storm called Cyclone Oki. The weather office said that the cyclone is headed west towards Lakshadweep, which means that it is unlikely to make landfall in Tamil Nadu. However, as a precautionary measure, schools in 7 districts of the state, including Tirunelveli and Kanyakumari, were closed. 2 teams of the National Disaster Response Force have been sent to Kanyakumari, while another team of 47 personnel will be on standby in Kochi in Kerala to help out in Lakshadweep if needed. Very heavy rain is forecast for South Tamil Nadu and South Kerala over the next 24 hours, forcing Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi as well to postpone his visit to the state. And here's a quick look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. The Indian Coast Guard apprehended 15 Pakistani fishermen and seized 2 of their boats after they allegedly ventured into Indian waters off the Gujarat coast on Thursday. The 2 Pakistani fishing boats, Al Najab and Al Siddiqui, were detected by the Coast Guard ship during a routine patrol. As per information by the Coast Guard ship, an interceptor vessel was dispatched to the location, which was around 35 nautical miles off Meetha port of Kutch. Uttar Pradesh recorded the highest number of heinous crimes such as murder and those against women in 2016. Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh reported the highest incidence of rape with 4,882 cases and 4,816 respectively, followed by Maharashtra at 4,189 last year. The ruling AIDMK announced E. Madhusudan as its candidate for the December 21st RK Nagar Assembly by-poll. Madhusudanan, the party's presidium chairman, was the AIDMK's unanimous choice. His name was finalized from a list of aspirants who had applied expressing willingness to contest the by-poll. The Enforcement Directorate on Thursday conducted multiple searches in Delhi in connection with a 5,000 crore rupee money laundering probe against the directors and associates of the Gujarat-based pharma firm Sterling Biotech. Official sources said the raiding team seized documents and computer hardware like hard drives and CDs from the associates of the owners of the firm. A quick break here. Up next, the top international stories.
Trophy boat race of Kerala, popularly called Vallam Kali in local parlance. This historic boat race dates back to 1952 when Pandit Nehru visited the state and a pageantry of boats accompanied him from Kottayam to Alappuzha. The race, conducted on the second Saturday of August every year, is a major tourist attraction. It's generally the snake boats which participate in the race, and hence the shape of the winner's trophy is also a replica of a snake boat.
Welcome back. International news. And North Korea's state-run television KRT on Thursday broadcast pictures and footage of its leader Kim Jong-un monitoring the launch of a Hwasong-15 missile. The country had on Wednesday successfully tested a new intercontinental ballistic missile, claiming that it can reach the US mainland. This was the highest and longest that any North Korean missile has flown, landing in the sea near Japan. Meanwhile, members of the UN Security Council strongly condemned North Korea's latest missile launch during an emergency meeting in New York. While urging China to show leadership and follow through the crisis, US Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, also said that Kim Jong-un's actions have brought the world closer to war.
The dictator of North Korea made a choice yesterday that brings the world closer to war, not farther from it. We have never sought war with North Korea, and still today, we do not seek it. If war does come, it will be because of continued acts of aggression like we witnessed yesterday. And if war comes, make no mistake, the North Korean regime will be utterly destroyed.
And here are more updates from across the world in Global Buzz. US President Donald Trump fired back at British Prime Minister Theresa May over her criticism of his retweeting of anti-Muslim videos. He said that May should focus on terrorism in Britain instead. The spat between the two leaders arose after Trump posted anti-Islam videos on Twitter, originally published by a leader of a far-right British party. May had criticized the move, calling it wrong. This is the first time Trump faced rebuke from an ally. A powerful storm along with heavy rains hit several parts of Sri Lanka, killing at least 4 people. The storm also disrupted air traffic and essential services. Flights also had to be diverted. Schools remained closed while houses were damaged and power supply hit. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe directed officials to pay 10,000 rupees as emergency assistance to the affected families. A suspected US drone strike targeted a hideout of the Haqqani militant network along Pakistan's border with Afghanistan, killing at least 4 militants. However, it is not confirmed that the drone belongs to the US, but if confirmed, it would be the 4th such US strike inside Pakistan since President Trump took office in January. A Bosnian Croat war criminal died after drinking poison in a UN war crimes courtroom after losing an appeal against his 20-year prison term. Slobodan Prilek's courtroom suicide came in the final minutes as the verdict was announced. Judges ruled that there had been criminal conspiracy aimed at the ethnic cleansing of the Muslim population in parts of Bosnia in order to ensure Croat domination there. And finally, all the sports updates now in SportsBeat. Mirabai Chanu won the gold medal at the World Weightlifting Championship in Anaheim in the US, becoming the first Indian in over 2 decades to win a gold at the championship. Chanu lifted 85 kilograms in snatch and 109 kilograms in clean and jerk to manage a total of 194 kilograms in the women's 48 kilogram category. Before Chanu, Karnam Malleshwari had won the top prize twice in 1994 and 1995. Ace Indian shuttlers Kidambi Srikanth and PV Sindhu qualified for the Dubai Super Series finals, which will be the year-end finale for the top 8 ranked players. Srikanth won 4 Super Series events this year, which is more than any other men's singles player, and qualified at the 2nd spot. Sindhu won 2 Super Series crowns this year and qualified at the 4th place. The ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup was launched in New Zealand with 16 teams in the fray. West Indies are the current defending champions, while Australia and India are the most successful teams with 3 title wins each. That's it on the news at 6. Thanks for joining us.